people. It is day 6. I think it's 6, yes. And today for lunch I have banana and, very, very lucky, dehydrated almond spread. Well, it's almond spread, organic almond spread made from dehydrated almonds. So lucky. This was actually given to me by a friend of mine who actually has a dehydrator, and she made it all by herself. And I'm having this with banana. I love it because it sticks to the top of my mouth. That's actually also why I like peanut butter as well. So let's watch me eat for a moment, shall we? Oh, look, my hair is going. Oh! Okay, so I'm going to put this down. So what's been happening with me? Thank God, yesterday, I actually had some cooked food. It was just important that I do. So yesterday I got my period, and it's probably the first time I'm going to be talking about it, but I suffer from endometriosis. Nothing major. I think I'm only type 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's 4, so it's not bad, but I feel that it's been getting worse. So I decided to go in and check out what endometriosis was online, because I'm just not very good at explaining it. I just know it hurts. It's an often painful disorder in which tissues that normally line the inside of your uterus, the endometrium, grows outside your uterus. Most commonly involves your ovaries, bowel, and tissue lining of pelvis. Basically, that's the one that causes the pelvic pains, especially when you're menstruating. It hurt the first time. I remember the first time it was really, really painful, and I was vomiting. I was probably about 12. And I'm really, really suffering. And my mom used to give me rum, if I'm not mistaken, to help to warm the body. And she just said, well, it's normal. So I just thought, well, it's normal. And then I started exercising, because I read somewhere that if you exercise, you would get less pelvic pain. So I would start exercising, and I wouldn't have any menstrual cramps anymore. And anybody who said they would have menstrual cramps, I would be really, really egoistic about it. I would just say, well, you're not exercising enough. And anybody who cries about pain, I'm like, oh, it's not actually that bad. But I think I was 28 when it started to become worse. And the time it got really bad and I started getting worried was when I was in London and I went to the gym, and I nearly fainted in an aerobics class. And that was in 2013. This time around, I think starting last year, it was really bad because there was an infection as well, and I was just really, really tired. And it was a pain that went from the front of my hips all the way to the back, and I started feeling or losing feeling, just having numbness in my legs, but even losing feeling in my legs, because then I started feeling like I was floating without anything from the waist down. And then I started to see black spots, and I would constantly feel like I'm fainting. So in November, I was really suffering, both at work and my personal life. So I finally decided to go and see a doctor about it, see a gynecologist. And so the gynecologist told me I had this thing called endometriosis and endometriosis, and didn't know what that was. But as long as it wasn't like fatal, I guess I was fine. And that's when I discovered it. Sorry, I love this. I guess it was humbling because it didn't matter the amount of exercise or how healthy I was still going to have this. I went on this worldwide search to understand what this was. But there's no cure. I went to see an osteopath in London in April, and she said there's so little research done on it. Everybody just assumes it's normal. It's a man's world, so there's not a lot of research pumped into it, and every single woman has a different kind of symptom. So it's almost like no woman is the same, and it doesn't matter whether you have surgery to remove the uterus. Sometimes it can come back. Some people say, like, if you have children, that the pain will go away, and I met 2 women who said, yeah, I've got 3 children and the pain has not gone away. I still have it. So it's just something that we have to deal with. And I was on medication where it would, like, help to kind of thin the blood so you don't get as much bleeding. Apparently that's helpful, but what I don't like is to be on medication. So whenever that time of the month comes, I try my best to not be on painkillers, but it can be hard. And so last night got my period, and that's the time of the month where there is no way I want to have raw. I just feel like I need something warm and comforting. So I had a ginger soup. It was sort of a Chinese herbal vegan ginger soup and a little bit of rice. I really can't eat very much anyway. I take a couple of spoonfuls, and that's just to help my body calm, and then I go to sleep. And the next day I kind of felt a lot better. I kind of thought, like, would that change my cravings? Because I even though I just started 6 days ago, would it change my cravings to want cooked food? But actually no. I had kiwis for breakfast, and this is my lunch, and I'm quite happy. I must say, though, actually during my period, I'm not really that hungry for anything. I do like things that are sweet, so that's what I'm having. I do try to kind of lie on a ball that's firm enough that I can lie on and roll my hip flexors because they get the most tightest. And then move my toes around just to try to get some sensation back into my legs. Yeah. And I've taken up belly dancing just to try to move my hips, because my hips are actually really stiff. I didn't realize how stiff they were, but they were actually really, really stiff. And it just doesn't matter, like, the amount of yoga I do and hip opening, it just is. And everything almost, I feel like I go on a reset button every single month that I get my period. Sometimes it scares me a lot that I worry that it's going to be bad, and I've seen some YouTube video clips that talk about, the other levels, the more intense levels. Women can't really even get out of bed, and that worries me a little bit. But usually by the end, like today, like the second day, the afternoon, I'm a lot better and I'm back to normal. So I try to maintain it as is. The first day, I really can't do anything. I'm horrible. I can barely drive. But then the next day, I'm a lot better. So if I can maintain this, I'm fine. Anyway, so that's my story. You can watch me eat again. I have no idea what I'm going to eat for dinner. But yes, I will see you tomorrow.